Everyone knows the Great Wall of China today. To prevent the Northerners from attacking, the Chinese built a massive 8,800-kilometer wall, most of which still remains and can be visited. But apparently the wall building by the Chinese doesn't want to end. China needs a new wall again. This time not to stop the Northerners from attacking, but to prevent the harsh nature of the northern regions. More specifically, the Gobi Desert. An invasion of this desert on Chinese soil is far more dangerous than the Northerners attacking China and must be stopped. China's arable land is very limited, and also the area of China and the US is roughly the same. Only 12% of China's land is arable. 52% of the land in the United States is arable. Now, despite the Gobi Desert, the same 12% is threatened, and desert is moving south from moment to moment. Of course, it's the progression of the desert's habit. If the deserts are abandoned, they will advance. Surely you know that China now has the largest population in the world and, after years of hard work, has managed to become agriculturally independent and feed the stomachs of its people with the same 12% of arable land. Of course, with the help of advanced technologies, they have established modern greenhouses, most of which are located in Xinjiang province. Xinjiang is a desert area and the land is rocky and can't be farmed, but the Chinese have solved this problem with modern greenhouses. In these greenhouses, crops such as tomatoes, onions, garlics, watermelons, and cantaloupes are obtained, which are of excellent quality. Throughout history, the most deaths that have happened to the Chinese have been starvation, but they have recently reached a point in history where they are no longer being starved to death. But suddenly they realized that an evil monster called the Gobi Desert was moving towards central China in a way that if they didn't stop it, it would turn most of China's farmland into a desert. Normally, China has little desert. 27% of China's territory is desert. But the Chinese came up with a horrifying statistic in 2006. They suddenly realized that every year 1,600 square kilometers of their fertile land is being swallowed up by the Gobi Desert. There are many deserts in the world, but the Gobi Desert is the driest desert in the world after Antarctica, and it has this land that causes permanent sandstorms to flow there. Sometimes these storms become so powerful that they reach major Chinese cities such as Beijing. This is while the Gobi Desert is a long distance from the Chinese capital, Beijing. In 2006, the alarm sounded for the Chinese. They realized that if they didn't stop the desert, not only would the Chinese go hungry again, but soon their country would become a desert. They came to the conclusion that they should build a wall in front of this desert. Second China Wall. But this time not with stones and bricks and concrete, but with trees. Now, a big decision has been made in China that it is necessary to build a dense, thick forest wall in the south of this desert. The Chinese calculated and concluded that the project will need 100 billion trees, a project to be completed in 2050. The length of this wall is not as long as the wall of China. It is 4,500 kilometers long, but it is not comparable in thickness to the wall of China. China as a whole is facing a shortage of forests, with only 5% of its land covered by forests. But after the project ends, the amount of forest in China will increase to 30.5%. In China, there's a communist government that is dictatorial and totalitarian and can be determined which city a Chinese citizen lives in or what his occupation is. The Chinese government has selected millions of people from all over China to implement the project and sent to the targeted areas to implement the project. The name of the vast forest that is to be built is Louis Chongqing. This wall, known as the Green Wall of China, millions of people have been sent to these projects with their families. They have tools at their disposal, and they also hold the eggs of some plants. First, to make the soil cohesive, they start planting dried plants such as desert thorns to stabilize the soil. Also, the Chinese government has forcibly sent these people to the area. It has satisfied them with decent pay, and these workers are now working in these areas. After the soil is stabilized with these dry plants, several types of trees are planted, most of which are spruce trees. The preservance and organization of the Chinese is excellent. They have subdivided these districts and selected a director for each district. The people who manage this area are people who are trained in how to turn this area into a lush area. All workers are under the supervision of these managers. You may be wondering, what stage is this wall at the moment? So far as we are recording this video, 5.2 billion trees have been planted, which is the highest number of trees planted in a country. India ranks second in arboriculture, having planted 2,100 million trees. But this forest is fresh at the beginning of the pass. The number of these trees is expected to reach 100 billion. As we said, the project started in 2006, and with the same number of trees planted so far, the Gobi Desert has been forced to stop and is even retreating in some places. The cessation of this desert happened in 2021. Currently, about 13 million hectares of the forest have been created, that is, equal to the area of Greece. Also, it is not finished yet. It is considered a successful project because it not only stopped the desert, but also changed the climate of the southern regions. These trees cause the annual rainfall to increase in this places, and because of this, the advance of the desert has been stopped and even forced to retreat in some places. However, some Western experts have questioned the Chinese, saying why they chose all the trees as poplars. They say that if a disease develops on one of the fire trees, it can threaten the entire forest. The Chinese accepted the criticism of foreign experts and since then increased the diversity of trees, and now not all trees are of the spruce type anymore. The trees planted so far have had a positive impact on the entire northern strip of the country, but the tree growing has not been pleasant for Beijing residents. Because Beijing is one of the most polluted cities in the world, and it has become more polluted after the construction of this forest, and it is said that these forests block the northern winds and do not let the wind reach Beijing and take Beijing's pollution with them. However, the advantage of this forest far outweigh its downsides. Currently, only about 10% of the forest has survived, but it has taken the rank of the largest man-made forest in the world. Do you think regions of the Middle East or Africa or the USA can also use this trick? Put your comments for us. Thank you for staying with Start Fact until the end of the video. Please join our channel and subscribe to us to see more interesting videos.